disclaimer as letting everybody know that you should definitely reach out to professionals when working with your revenues and your expenses.
Good morning. My name is Delphina Begay. Today I'll be presenting what's a qualified business expense. So I just can introduce myself again. My name is Delphina. My clans are Nash Edget Kapanish Listen, Jenny Bushes Chin, Twitch Ini, Desha Che, Beepa 20, Desha. I'm currently originally from White Mesa, Arizona, which is actually between Kaibito and Red Lake. That's where my sheep herding grounds are from. And then my Nellies are from the Lachii community. I'm a virtual bookkeeper, finance accountant person, and I also do part-time CFO for small businesses as well. I do everything virtual. When need be, I'll go ahead and go out to your business location, and I usually will sit in your business office, and sometimes I'll work from there as well. So some of my current clients are mostly all small remote businesses on the reservations. And I got a few in the suburban areas. A lot of my clients are from their backgrounds is in the tour company industry. I do have some in the farrier services. I have some in the art cohort type of gallery type of businesses. I've had an opportunity to do some sports management as well. So I kind of do everything. I come from a background of business and finance. I went and here's my background. I got my bachelor's degree in business administration from Northern Arizona University. So I'm a lumberjack, and I have two children currently attending ASU and U of A. So we're definitely house divided. My daughter's over at U of A. So she's my Wildcat, and my son's a Sun Devil over in Tempe. So we love football. We love our college football. We love our Cardinals, and we're looking forward to the Super Bowl. But these are my children. I'm a small business owner, a Navajo women small business owner. And I like to bring that attention to you all, because I think supporting another small business, you're supporting the livelihood of our families. And you guys are my children's scholarship. You're getting these other two children to finish school and let them become a doctor, and the other wants to become an engineer. So I appreciate that as a potential client. I appreciate that if you are paying another Navajo business owner, another tribal business owner, you're helping our families. You're helping our families in our backyard. You're helping. So just think about all those things, and I appreciate that. And I give kudos to you guys if you even have a payroll and you have your own employees that are native, and they're working for your companies, and you're helping the community there. So that's what my goal is. Ultimate goal is all our small business. It's a tough business. We some days are waiting for our invoices to come in to get paid. We're budgeting as well, and but you're still helping your community members and letting them thrive. So again, I have 20 years of experience in finance and accounting. Some of the job positions I've worked throughout the time of my tenure was I was an accountant, a chief financial officer, a financial analyst, and a finance director. And all of these are in the realms of like in the health industry. I've done in the state government industry, the casino industry, and small businesses. So what made me start my business, Water Edge Business Solution, is I had the opportunity to come back home to Navajo land, and I worked for a small business, and it was a family-owned business out in Lachii in the tourism industry. And that's where I got to learn a lot of things, how to run businesses on any nation. And they gave me that opportunity. And as I saw that, I saw my Lachii community thriving in tourism. And at that time, some of them would actually knock on my door, my office door at that particular tourism companies, and they asked me, can you help me? Can you help us with this and that? But my commitment was with this small business, so I kind of felt bad not doing that. And later on, I decided to just leave the business and just do it on my own. But I've always been toying for over 10 years to start my small business in finance and accounting and bookkeeping. And that's where I decided I saw a lot of thriving businesses. It was this morning as I drove from La Chi'í community into the Tuba City community, I saw like you get up early in the morning, like they say your grandparents, and they tell you to pray in the morning when the sun goes up and let all the people listen to your prayers. And I looked at thinking about how many of those families, as I drove in this morning, how many were making breakfast burritos to start their entrepreneurship, how many were getting their tools together to go out and become a rancher and check on their sheep, horses, and cow this morning, how many, mothers, single mothers especially, are getting their kids ready to get to school, get on the bus, and they're heading off to their jobs. Those things like that kind of made me think about, like, we are a thriving community. We're all small business entrepreneurs, no matter what, from a breakfast burrito, hauling woods and chopping woods and bringing them out in the corner of Tuba City and selling them. And we thrive because we learned from our grandparents, because our Chays were ranchers, and they were make sure to fan up the sheep, horses, and cow and sell them to the markets. Our grandmas were taking care of the sheep livestock to start weaving and selling to the trading post. So that's all in us. And I just want to let you guys know that we're all capable of doing those things. So if any of you guys are out there still kind of toying with your business, is it a business? Is it a hobby? Do something that you like, do something that you love. But at the same time, when you do start your own business, it is a bit scary. But this is me and my Water Edge Business Solution, and I'm a year into it, and I will be starting my second year. I actually finished last month, so I established my business last year in January. So I did my 1 year. So today I'm just going to talk about the type of business structure. We did this yesterday. And most of us, I think, are a sole proprietor and limited liability. I feel like that's today's content, as most of us are in that particular position. So as a sole proprietor, sometimes you're that one person running your business, and then when it comes down to tax in April, you're going to be doing a 1040 with a Schedule C. So I'm going to kind of focus more on that because I feel like that's what most of my target market this morning is in. So sometimes a sole proprietor, you'll have a EIN number attached to it, or you are a DBA, doing business as, and you report that with your Social Security number. Okay, when you're doing that. And then there's a limited liability, the LLC. So it's either one or more people, and you're self-employed, and you also use the personal taxes. Most of the time here, I think my followers today are going to be in that realm. And then there's a few that are out there that are S Corps. And then we have some partnerships. So those are the type of things. We'll have a more discussion today about your business deductions. So when you have your business deductions, it's really going to be what in your bank. I'm going to just focus on that piece, but mostly look at your bank statements. If you have time, if you want to go ahead and log on to your own business accounts right now and look at that. That's the running point of starting your business, starting your bookkeeping things, is you'll see your revenue, expenses, the banking activities within your bank statement. That is business related if it's on your business account. So it usually will show you your revenue, which is the earnings from operation, also called income. And these are coming from if you're getting an invoice and you're paying through PayPal, if you're paying through Square. They put those all up. Some of the tour companies that I'm working with, I think some of you guys use Fair Harbor. So Fair Harbor. So those, when you make your sales, they automatically deposit into your bank account. So those become your revenue, most of those income that's coming there. Then you have your expenses, and more than likely on your bank account, those are the negative numbers in most bank statements. And that's the cost that incurs to run your business. It varies from bank to bank, anything from corporate institutions like Wells Fargo, Bank of America. They might actually categorize it for you if you look into your bank statements. Other ones like credit union and stuff, they might do some of those things. If you still are a check writer for your business, I strongly recommend that you, before you hand over that check for payments or for any of your contract labor, scan that check, because in the back end, when people are, if you're going to bookkeep or you're going to hire a bookkeeper, at least they'll get to see that. Sometimes you neglect to actually write on your business checking accounts the description of why you spent that money, why you wrote that check. So I'm an advocate about how to keep up with your expenses, your receipts. Okay, if you shoebox or not shoebox, for me it doesn't matter. I don't judge on that, but sometimes everybody has a crazy busy schedule. And sometimes if you don't have the time, throw it in a box, throw it in a file folder, and then at least try to start reviewing those expenses, like at least weekly if you can, but try to do it twice a month. So that way you can prepare to reconcile your accounts. But overall, just consider your needs and your accounting skills on when you're doing these things, and how much time do you have, and what will your tax provider accept on those receipts. And honestly, if your kids are tech savvy, they can help you scan your receipts too. So utilize them for free labor. And then again, according to the IRS, supporting documents must include description of the item, purchase, or service rendered. So basically, just be mindful that your bank statements or your credit cards or credit card statements are not always sufficient as a backup documentation for some of your expenses. And then I'm just saying, just make sure to scan those documents, because again, like Ms. Parker said a couple of days ago, that our paper receipts, they start fading away. So it's make sure you scan it or take pictures of them. Start getting used to doing that. So these are the two softwares I highly recommend when you get at that level. If you think if your business activities are more than at least 50 activities a month, banking transactions, I would highly recommend reviewing a QuickBooks, utilizing QuickBooks services or Wave. Wave's free, but there's some things that the extra stuff for extra reporting, it still costs money. So if you want to start there, I would recommend Wave. The second one for sure is try to get on QuickBooks. QuickBooks, my recommendation is, if you're ready to start getting into applying for business accounts, any loans, or applying for loans, most of these bankers already want you to start on a business QuickBooks, and then that way whatever reporting guidelines that they're looking for when you're applying for these loans, they're so used to looking at the way the format of QuickBooks is, they'll ask for that particular type of reports. So just considering the needs of your accounting skills, do you need these products? They also have cloud applications. Right now, most of them are going to be online based. And also, I agree that you guys probably have budgets in mind. So it can get costly. QuickBooks for the past 3 years have increased year over year of their basic payments. And make sure that your bank is compatible with these accounting softwares, and just ask questions about it. And just start at the minimum requirement. I would do that first, because you're just still learning. Because if you get the high-end features of these particular accounting softwares, it gets really overwhelming. So it just does a lot of features, and sometimes you don't need all of them. So right now you just need something that will just populate your balance sheets and your profit and loss sheets. And then you can always upgrade as you grow your business. So again, I'm just going to reiterate that keep your receipts for everything related to your business on the income side and your expenses. Definitely when you get them, if you want to even start your own electronic file system on your laptop or your desktop computer, put them all there, start a file right now. So I can give you a homework assignment for the weekend. Tomorrow, just open a file, and then whatever receipts that are coming in, build a file for that in your computer. I I forgot, I just noticed yesterday I had to run to Walmart, and here Walmart has a feature now that you can, it said there's a prompt that says text or email your receipts. So I was just thinking about that because I do have some of my clients that utilize Walmart in Page area. So connect that to your business email so that way we can always have all the Walmart receipts. For being in such a small town out there, they practically use everything at Walmart. So some of my clients are like practically going to Walmart every day, picking up business supplies or whatnots. And I'm going to remind them to just go ahead and set an email up to send that receipt so we're not looking for it. And then basically the ultimate goal is don't commingle your account using your personal account as your business account. It does get hectic for bookkeepers and your CPA and your accountant to pull those data and get them separated. And then definitely open a separate checking and credit card account for your business. So just start kind of transitioning to that, then using your personal credit card for those if you're going to be using credit cards. And use only those accounts for business transaction only. So if you're going to pay yourself out on your business, it becomes an owner's draw for the sole proprietor, single member LLCs and partnerships. Okay, so that's an owner's draw. So if you're going to pull out from your business account on your bank statement next month, let's say you're going to take out 500 yesterday or on January 31st to pay yourself out, you take out the $500 at your Wells Fargo account on your business, that becomes an owner's draw. So that's basically a payout to yourself. But if you're an LLC, an S Corp, and C Corp type of corporation, that's going to be like a payroll. So you just put it as a payroll. And then also track your investments in your business. Some of the investments, if you're purchasing new things like a vehicle, a business vehicle, some of the tour companies do purchase tour vehicles. So that would be their investments to their businesses, kind of like an example. So how I do things, I think, is there any questions?
No.
Okay. All right. So what I recommend is looking at your Schedule C on IRS. This is the ultimate kind of like your chart of account for your small business. So if you see part 2 at the bottom here, do they see this when I do this? So on part 2, you see the expenses. And part 2, all of those line items from part 2, line 8, all the way to 27, those are the IRS reported business deductions. So if you want to start on that and start your chart of account, is the best place to start, and then you can subcategorize it and add in like what's going in advertising besides your let's see, if you're going to do some billboards out in, I know that there's billboards sitting, where's that Gap area from Gap to, I can't remember the community for the life of me now, but when you go up to the big cut from there, as you're going into Page, there's a bunch of billboards. So let's say you decide to do some billboard ads, you get invoice. That's where most likely you would put that invoice from, is the advertising line. Let's say 9, you do like every 3 months, you're doing oil changes over at the local mechanic shop for your vehicle that you're always traveling on the res to go to your clients to clients. That oil change maintenance would go in there for the car and truck. So you kind of can roll those, that's a good starting point, and just review. So if I know everybody's going to start doing their cleaning up for their reporting for their taxes. So look at 2022's expenses from January to the end of December of 2022. Look at what you're always spending money on, and then figure out what to categorize those things, or if you have questions. So I'm going to leave today. I'm going to leave a lot of opportunity for you guys to ask me some questions about some of these deductions you're not sure where to put or how to categorize. So this is basically what I'm going to focus on. So again, just remember, take a look at the irs.gov and just look for search for the forms, Schedule C, Form 1040, and this should be pulled up. So now I'm gonna go ahead and let you know what the roll up of the business deductions that you can utilize on that Schedule C. And I'll go in detail, and then feel free to ask questions if there's some sections that you have. And then what I want to do also is to bring the attention about what like indigenous expenses, I guess I can kind of say it, that, you know, non-natives would not do, but we us natives have like expenses on the res that's a little bit different. And you utilize that. And as long as you have the backup documentations for these expenses, I wouldn't freak out or just like talk to your CPA or your accountant about those, but show them your invoices, your receipts of what this is, and say, I don't know if it really is a business expense or not. So they can review and check. So there's a few I have that I can just share with you, that through some of my experience with these Native small businesses. Okay, so we're going to discuss some of the business deductions, that's some of the most common business deductions you can utilize this coming for your year 2022 expenses, and then you can move forward. So we can do the employee salaries. So you got the wage salaries. Most of us are probably not really at this final stage where you're going to be W-2ing your employees and doing the payroll type of processing. A lot of us small businesses are starting out with 1099 wages. Again, that was due January 31st. I think that was on Wednesday. Those were all due, the 1099s and W-2. So if you haven't done those, make sure you guys try to get that done at least before the end of this month. But you may be getting a penalty. You might be slightly penalized for being late on those particular documents. So your employee salaries would be the wages, the salaries, if you're giving them bonuses like the end of the year Christmas bonuses, vacations, sick pays, and if they have some commissions, those would be considered and categorized as employee salaries. Again, like I said, some of the tour companies, some of their people are on commission too. Some of the artisans also are on commission. So that's how you would categorize. It would be like kind of subcategorized as commissions, and it will actually roll up into the employee salaries. Employee benefits. If you're doing benefits, there's going to be the health plan, those type of things. There's some cafeteria plans. You can pick and choose what their benefits, adoption assistance, life insurance, and dependent care insurance are kind of examples of what potential future things you could do for your employees, is providing those benefits. Now there's continuing education. And this is for your business. You can write off the books, the tuition, the educational material. So if some of you guys are in a particular type of services and you have to go get more continuing education, this is where you put it. My farrier had to go to farrier certification training out in Oklahoma. So he took his trip out there, paid the tuition, he paid for his educational material. So that was a write-off. His hotel stay, his gas, and everything was written off as he took his business travel trip for his getting him certified. So those are things that he saved up. So that's another example. No question? Okay. Now there's home offices. If you're on the reservation, it's a little bit sticky here, because technically our Hogans, we don't really pay property taxes for those purposes, but okay. Okay. Sorry about this. We don't really we're not really able to do that percentage of property tax write-offs on that base. But if you're off reservation, you can deduct a percentage of the property taxes, the insurance, utilities, and mortgage interest. But whereas if you're on native, like if you're on Navajo reservation, you can do a portion of your N2A bill if you have a home office, and a portion of your internet bill if you're paying the N2A side. But if you have Starlink and things like that, you can move the whole Starlink because it's an internet provider services. That one you can just put under the telephone or cellular or internet expense, and that's pretty much can be written off 100% if it's utilized for business use only. Or you can get the $5 per square standard deduction on your tax for the home office. Okay, for the telephone, I see it this way. If it's totally strictly telephone that's set up as a business telephone, that's 100% write-off. So if you're doing cellular one and you got business cellular one phone number, that's 100%. But if you're utilizing your cell phone for personal and business, just costs allocated like an 80-20%, 20% personal, 80% business. So if it's $100 bill for January of this year, book $80 towards your expense for telephone for the business, and then the other 20 would be for your personal side. And you don't have to book, for me, you don't have to book it till later. We can just, it's a monthly recurring bill on telephone, so we can rebook it at the end of the year and get that one done as a lump sum. Rentals. So rentals are a total, those are business deductions, your vehicle leases if it's used for your business again, and if you're leasing some vehicles strictly for business, equipment rentals. So I know some of, again, in ordinary, different expenses that non-natives don't do that we do to run your daily operation in the business is some of you guys are renting the generators just to run your business. So that's where your generator rental would be, is under the rent for the as an equipment rental. So if you're doing that, take a look at what your generator cost is. And I'll just keep going. There's some generator tidbits I can tell you about. And then like your solar panels, if you're doing solar too, just and your solar renting. But if it's your own, we'll book it to a different area. And then if you're renting a space, an office space, like if you have an office space in Tuba City and you're paying the rent for the office space, this is where it would be. And the legal professional service expense, this is for your CPAs, your attorneys, your consultants, your professionals who provide service to your business. So if you end up hiring me as a bookkeeper, this is where you would put me at, or if you need me for CFO jobs or things like that, or consulting, this is where you would put me at. Another inordinary expense that non-natives don't do, but we do. And I kind of brought this up with Change Lab yesterday, so I'll probably put it in this area. In this expense depends on if it can be too crazy amount. So as Native Americans, and I know a few of my business people year to year before they're ready to start their new business year, they want to get a blessing. And what do? We hire Navajo practitioner or medicine man to bless the business, bless yourselves, protect you and your clients. And I don't see a problem with that, because that's really something that's within our culture. And you can probably, you are able to, I would put it here in the legal professional for the practitioner. But the thing is, we have the dollar amounts, and we know most of our practitioners take cash only. And to be ethical, if you pay your practitioner under $600 threshold, you wouldn't have to issue that person a W-9. And I guess just make it reasonable. I mean, hopefully the practitioner are not going to say, I need $3,000 for this job. But it's very, so if you're a traditional Navajo and you do those things, I don't see it as a problem. Okay, I see that Jackie put down that she has an employee that's a W-2 and then also a 1099. That is fine, as long as your W-2 is going to hit his social security number, and his 1099 actually should be, does he have, if he has the EIN number for his consultant, that should not be an issue, because I just recently did, I filed one the other day that in that manner. So that's fine with, as long as you can allocate which is actually a W-2 job and the other one's a 1099 contractual job. Okay, and then we have interest on business debts. Those are another write-offs. So those are the interest paid on all your loans. If you got some loans, interest paid on some of your business credit card, they'll have on, or on the line of credit, they'll have the interest paid at the end of every month. You have that written out on there. But other liabilities for your business, and other liabilities, sorry. And you also cannot deduct interest on life insurance and interest on income tax debt. So those aren't allowable. Now we're going to payroll, the payroll taxes. That's when, if your payroll taxes, you're doing W-2s, and those you have to still, we have to by law pay Medicare taxes, unemployment taxes, and Social Security taxes. So those are the expenses. And usually where you see that is when you review your form 940, 941s for your Medicare and Social Security, you'll see those dollar amounts. And those are usually, I believe, if you're on a biweekly, you get the 26 pay periods, and then on the weekly, it's either weekly to biweekly, and then I don't know if you can. I don't recall. I apologize. If it's quarterly, you can take a look at those particular reports. Unemployment taxes; those are for your state taxes. So if you're paying into the state unemployment, Arizona, you should get a form. New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, you should also get a form for the unemployment taxes. I will go ahead and share this list. That's fine. We'll just get that ready, and then I'll have Raquel send this list for you guys just to help you guys out. So that's no problem. Insurance premium. So if you're paying for insurances against your business for like the fire, storm, theft, accidents, business debts, the liability, malpractice, your workman's comp, vehicle use for business, and the life of the officer employees that are not your beneficiary. Those are all insurance and premiums. The Navajo Nation, I believe, and I'm going to recheck because I read that they're only the Navajo Nation enterprises by law on Navajo Nation has to pick up workers' comp. But as small business owners, it's not really, we don't really have to if your business is on the nation. But that's probably something they all need to look into, because there's a lot of regulations that with being sovereign, we don't really have to pick up some of these type of insurance premiums. But as far as like off Navajo Nation or off any tribal land, you have to pick up some of these insurance policies and for your businesses. So just review them. Definitely get quotes, because they vary from company to company, the packages that they have. But if you're seeking these type of business insurances on the nation, just be mindful that a lot of them will say no to us because of us not having the collaterals, the backups for us being on the nation. So it's a little bit hard to find a good insurance broker. So if any of you guys know insurance brokers that specialize on any tribal land, let me know too, because I'm having a hard time finding those for my own clients. Business bad debts. These are when you're unpaid amounts not received from my customer for services rendered can be deducted as bad debt. So these are people that aren't paying for their invoices and things. You can write that off at the end of the year. Or if you have retail sales and small businesses, stolen goods or somebody's theft inside your retail store or your souvenir shop, those missing items that got stolen, make sure you track them and then go ahead and write those off at the end of the year. So those are kind of what the business bad debts are. We'll do travel now. Travel is a whole different, on the meal side, it kind of gets sticky, that the 50% meal, basically, if you're taking your client out for lunch, you can only claim 50% of that receipt. So because they do 50 because basically you're going to be paying for the for your client, your potential client's meal. So, and then you're eating with them. So you're only able to do the 50%, and they changed it back to 50%. Last year, it was 100%. We could claim, but not this coming year. So be mindful for that. So 22 is back to 50, and moving forward to 2024, it's going to be 50%. But if it's something you're hosting, like a networking gathering at your place of business, and you're getting food and catering, that could be, that example would be 100%, because you're actually doing advertising to your business, you're doing a networking type of functions. So those would be hitting more like on the advertising line for those purposes. On the travel for your hotel and lodging, that's pretty much 100%. So if you're going to be, again, like I said, some of us might be going to the RES conference next month, or some of us will be going to the IANTA conference next week in Albuquerque. So if you've already reserved those hotels and their lodging, those particular invoices and receipts become, they'll hit in your hotel lodging into the travel. The transportation is for your fuel. So that save your fuel receipts. And if you're off reservation, most of the time you're able to probably use those mileage type of applications to keep your mileage. Really, if you're on reservation, it doesn't really work. I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't. So me, I'm still old school. I bought a new calendar, and it's specifically just gonna be my mileage for traveling, for my meals and hotel. So I just grabbed a nearby planner that fits in my glove compartment. So I've been writing. So this is just an example that what I did. And I just exclusively now just put it just for traveling. So I put my business travel notation on the date. I put my fuel cost and my mileage there. And I did an oil change too before I came out here. So I did all that. And what I did is also took a picture of my fuel receipt here. So here's my fuel receipt. And then I put at the bottom the mileage when I filled up my tank here. And then after this, I threw it in the back of this little, I just duct tape a little plastic, like a sandwich bag in here, and put all my receipts there for the time being. And then this weekend, I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture, put it in my book. I'm gonna book them this weekend and clear out this, because this is all my November expenses, and just keep it organized like that. So I'm trying to make that habit myself. Otherwise, I'll just sit there and look through my calendar to see where I was at, and figure out my mileage and things like that. So just kind of like, if you want to do something like this, like I said, I'm doing it old school. It's just not possible to keep an app to track when I'm in the middle of the reservation. And I go from Kienta to like Chinle. Sometimes those things just cut off on you. So that's kind of a little thing that you guys can try to do it yourself. Advertise and marketing costs. So the type of expenses you could use are for flyers, for your website, your email marketing services, your business cards, your brochures. Also, you can put, like some of you guys are doing for your social media stuff. Sometimes you'll buy some Facebook ads. You can throw that in there. You do some Twitter ads, you throw it there. You can put it in that location. What else is there? Goodwill. You could do some, if you guys are going to sponsor your local basketball tournament, you can go ahead, and if you're sponsoring that, that's where it would be your advertising cost. Some examples this year, a few of the companies that some of my clients this year were able to sponsor some INFR qualifiers and for qualifying to Las Vegas. So they went and they actually sponsored them. So that's where those contestants were put here. This is where I had them put their advertising marketing, because the contestants are there. They went to INFR and they advertised their businesses during the duration of their rodeo events. So that's where you can put that here. And then we're gonna go down to vehicle expenses. I kind of jumped and moved it back and forth, but that's where the leases, do your mileage. I do have a short form of a mileage spreadsheet too, a template. I can probably go ahead and share with Raquel too for you guys to utilize too on an Excel sheet. Your repairs and maintenance for your vehicle, the gas, fuel, your registration fees for your MVD if you have to register the vehicle. That's where all the expenses for your vehicle expenses will be. Membership fees. So fees for Chamber of Commerce, if you're a local Chamber of Commerce, if you're active for your business. Other business associations or leagues will go into this line. We probably don't really have real estate boards, but just these are just kind of general. And then service organization, trade associations. So if there's some like certified mechanics that need to be here, if you're running a auto, you have to get your trade association certifications. This is where it would be. Fees that do not count are hotel clubs, your airline clubs, your athletic clubs, your country clubs. So these don't, you can't utilize that. Your bingo clubs, you know, all of those. So those wouldn't work here. Repairs, this is for repairs of your business. So if you have any minor repairs and maintenances, this is where it would go. Office supplies expense is basically, you know, what your office supplies are, your paper ink, cleaning supplies, light bulbs. That's where all the stuff for your office related expenses would be there. I usually like to separate them. So just specifically office supplies there, and then general other supplies. You can do another line for just strictly other than office supplies. Because I know some of us will purchase other things like at Home Depot for your businesses. So that's where I would just do another line item. Clients gifts. So if you're gifting at the end of the year for just an appreciation for your clients that you have, you can buy up to $25 worth of chocolate boxes of candy for them or something like that. Just keep it under $25 is kind of the IRS rule. So that's where it is. The charitable contributions. So you're able to deduct that to a 501c3. So Change Lab is a 501c3, by the way, right? So if you want to, if you have extra, if you want to do a few write-offs at the end of the year, this is one that you can probably go ahead and write in what Change. Let's say if you want to donate $50 to Change Lab at the end of the year in December, they will go ahead and send you a receipt with their 501(c)(3) EIN number. So they kind of track that, and then you share them your EIN number. So that way it's an in and out for their business for them to write off. For some of you newbies that are going to start your new business this coming year, there's a business startup cost, and you can only write off up to $5 grand, so $5,000 for your business startup costs, and that's just including like just basically you know, when you're going to the state of Arizona, you're getting your corporate, getting your articles of corporation, you do all those online, they'll do online charges for those things, and just getting your permits, your licensors, all of that for the year. That's where you would put that for your business markup. And then there's market researches, and then if you need to do some training, expense trainings for training employees. So these are the main ideas for business expenses that we have. Again, we do have in Indian country, we do have some different expenses off Navajo land or Indian land or off the reservation, like the things that we don't have. So I can share you those experience again. We have a lot of my clients are working with generators. So if it's a good $1,000 generator, make sure you get the invoice, and that one becomes an equipment to the company, and it becomes an asset to the company. So we can try to depreciate that generator. Solar panels, if they're about that, we can do that and add that onto your asset to your company. Other things like someone mentioned yesterday that they do have a generator, and so that fuel spot, I would recommend that you track the generator fuel and your regular generator on a vehicle. So that way you can track yourself. How much are you paying? How much are you paying generator fuel for the year when you see that? And how much are you paying for vehicle fuel for the year? So that kind of breaks out the whole examples of the expense and those kind of manners. And I'm trying to think what else was there that a little bit different on the res. Animals, so livestocks. I have a glamping client, and she does she just butchers the sheep for dinner for the guests. So she's allowed to write off her livestock. So when she purchases the hay, the feed, the fertilizer, the shots that she maintenances, she writes those down on her business because that's part of her business is the livestock. So that one is allowable for her business. So just kind of think if you own livestock on reservation land and you use it for business purposes, those can be written off as your business deductions. And does anybody have some questions? Questions about some of your expenses and where to categorize, or what is it something that we can actually deduct?
I guess I have a question. Say that you do because you don't know, say that you don't know how, like a lot of these things, as a lot of new business owners kind of, when they start, they accidentally commingle, they're not great at organizing all of it. Like, what could be some like steps of advice for them to start kind of better organizing, or like how do they backtrack that so it doesn't feel so overwhelming when they have to ultimately go through it all?
I would highly suggest the go-to is learn how to review your bank statements. If you know how to download that information, the data behind your bank statement, because there's a little area that you can pull and you extract the data and it becomes a CVS, which is kind of like an Excel file. If you pull it from there, then you can see list by list in an Excel format. And you'll be able to, some of your banks will get pretty detailed. Learn to do that and start reviewing that. And then you'll just get used to actually reading those codings that your bank goes through, because what it separates it by line. It'll have your check numbers, and it'll have, like, if you have more than 3 business cards, it'll actually show you when you're sliding that card in your business bank accounts, it'll show the card numbers. On the personal side, though, if you're co-mingling, yes, definitely run that report, then look at it line by line and you'll know. So if you're over at, what can I say, an example? I don't know why this popped in my head, so I apologize. I don't know. So if you're co-mingling and you buy like $50 worth of Victoria's Secret, we definitely know that's not a business related item on your personal co-mingling site. So we wouldn't count that as business. But if we see a $50 local hardware, Ace Hardware receipt, so we're going to look at that $50, and now it tells you that you got that $50 hardware store. Was it business or personal? What gets sticky because of being commingled, you're going to have to get the original receipt and look at the hardware store and see what did you really buy for $50. And then when it comes, you think that we bought two paint bottles because you wanted to repair and maintenance your business building. So we knew that, but you hit it against your personal account. So that's why you have to drill down on the co-mingling to see what the documentations you did and purchased for. I kind of suggested and asked Change Lab, and I guess I want to hear from all of you guys what's your thought. If you are trying to budget your accounting software and you know you can't really afford it at this point in time, I was just toying with the idea that maybe I can do another session to teach you guys how to go into your bank statements and download it and start getting you ready to categorize your business expenses from that bank statement, and just getting to simplify just everything in Excel format, and then just reading your bank statements and just running through the whole thing. So let me know what you think and if you would be interested in something like that, where I can actually train you on just reading your bank statements, downloading it for you to just categorize it and just do the old fashioned way of just doing an Excel spreadsheet for your business expenses for 2022.
There's a question from Jackie.
Oh, okay, let me see.
Picking up materials from Major City on the reservation.
These materials are not available for purchase and can labor response times for transporting the included gas, food. And then
It says the material pickup takes trip on the res.
You can write off all of that as long as you have those documentations and that you have the supporting documents for every single one of those items that you're talking about, and making a notation. Who is the one over there? What are they picking up at what point in time? And so basically being thorough and detail on that, and maybe start keeping a tracking system for some of those. That does occur a lot on needed business owners having to go out to nearby towns to pick up particular items, because either those materials can't be delivered straight to the reservation on reservation land, or they just don't have anybody to ship it out there. So yes, as long as you have those backup supporting documents, receipts, and tracking where you're going to and from. Okay, so I have another one here that says, I sometimes make recipe video reels for dietitian's Instagram account. For example, a smoothie receipt calls for 5 ingredients. I buy ingredients from the grocery store. Would that ingredient be categorized as supplies and materials? Yes, because that's all business related. So you can, I would best fit it in the supplies and material area. And that should be fine. Again, just make sure that you, on that receipt, maybe right in the back, that's for your dietitian Instagram account, or whoever the name is, just put it on there that you purchased those. And then that way, that can be the whole write-off for the supplies and materials.
And
another question by
Jackie.
We've also been changed. Okay, Jackie's put, we've also been charged delivery fees by companies who did transport for us due to the material being a large semi truck. Can those fees be written off? As long as they're business related, that should not be a problem. Again, just make sure you have the invoice or the documentation to support that. And I guess I can share some IRS. I don't know if I did this yesterday, but I wanted to show all of you guys also, the IRS actually has like a YouTube tutorials and lessons, or just kind of like things that if you have questions about some of your expenses, you could utilize that. So let's see. Let's stop sharing. And then wanted to pull that IRS one out. So IRS has really upgraded their website. So there actually is videos on some of these questions you guys are asking for, or just even filing your taxes and giving you more information on how to get utilize some of, like, asking these expense questions. So I am trying to show you the link to the videos. So the IRS has a YouTube channel for videos, so definitely check that out. I've actually signed up, being a bookkeeper, I sign up for the IRS subscription, so they sent me a lot of newsletters. So here's the YouTube IRS video, and I'm gonna have area that you can look through some of the video tutorials and some of the questions. So definitely check this out and take a look at some of these features that they have. And you could just kind of just ask questions, and then it'll direct you to it. So if some of, like I said, an example, like the 1099s and the W-2s, if you didn't do them this past week, look it up. They'll show you how to get these all done, and then some of the guidelines and help how to get yourself ready for your closeout for your taxes. Oh, cool. They even have a tax information for Indian tribal government. So that's probably something we could try to look in if you guys have some time. And there's some small businesses here. So definitely take a look at these things. And how far are all of you guys as far as like, are you pretty organized right now with your 2022 expenses? Are you already mostly categorizing a lot of things already? Like, are you 50% done, or are you like almost, you're pretty much almost completed? And what really helps is if you have the high dollar stuff, review your high dollar things and check to say, is it something that is an asset to my company? Is it an equipment that I can possibly depreciate and things like that? If you purchased laptops are expensive these days. So if you went and purchased a laptop, the one I'm eyeing for, I'm gonna upgrade this year. The laptop I'm looking at is gonna be $2,000 already for everything that I need. So definitely I'm gonna write that one off as a office equipment, but make sure that it becomes an asset and depreciate that laptop. So just looking at those high dollar office equipments, even like your printers, your scanners. If you're interested in purchasing a scanner, those already start at base price about $200 to $500 for a good one. So, and they do sell those little portable ones too. So they're not too expensive, but those are types of things that you might be thinking about. And then with all this said, once you get all the expenses organized and taken care of, then you're able to like help you project and forecast out your following year of how much you spent like in the fuel line. And you can break that data apart month by month and then by year. And then you could see your fluctuations of what your expense are and where you spend a lot of money, what months on the income part where you're making your revenue. If you keep those all reconciled month to month, by the year end, you're able to look at your whole months from January to December. You can figure out what when's your high, like you'll know when your seasonality, you might see a seasonality in your business. Especially with the tour businesses, a lot of them kind of know when their seasonalities are. At one time, it used to be from like April to August, and with everybody helping one another, and especially the Antelope Canyon ones, their season is gonna be starting next month, about March, and it practically now ends in October. So they see that seasonality. And some of them do that analysis, and what they do is also some of them are really good at like knowing when their clients are coming in, what part of the country they're from. Are they coming in from Asia? Are they coming in from Europe? They know when the Germans come in. They know when the French are coming in. So some of them are pretty good on top of what their seasonality, their target markets come in. So when you do all these revenues and expenses and you keep them organized and you reconcile these things, at the end job, you're going to learn how to analyze your clients and what the moving pieces are, where you're at. And you can even see that, especially with the gas line, fuel expenses. You'll see when are the high dollar expenses. You usually fill up your business card for $40 when it's like under $2.99. Then when the gas is at $3.50, you'll know that $40 gas is no longer being filled up at $40. You know it ends up being filled up at $50. You know that's when the gas prices were high. If you kind of see, so you kind of can drill down those type of expenses. So those are things that helps you in the long run, and that helps you prepare yourself to do like good forecasting numbers if you're planning to like expand your business and start getting some loans. A lot of the lenders want to see your actual numbers, and they also want to see what your projected numbers are. And if you know those numbers, they know that you're pretty financially fit, you're financially understanding your business and how it's ran. And a lot of them will look in the back end and ask those type of questions and see if you'll be answering them correctly and seeing if you understand how your cash flows of your business is floating and if you know what's going on with your business. So again, like I said yesterday, I mentioned just learning. There's a lot of resources out there. We have Change Lab as a resource. Definitely come and visit if you're in the Western Agency area. Come and visit Raquel and come into the office. They have very good internet connections. They're more than open if you want to do prospect client meetings here. Set up a meeting here because you have all the resources here to utilize. And then they're going to be expanding into the New Mexico side, so that's really exciting. There's a few other resources out in the New Mexico area too that they have ongoing. And your local SBA offices, your SCORE offices, those are the resources you can utilize. Go to webinar trainings and try to take some time. Like I said, my goal is I usually do 5 a week, try to do everything. So for the last 3 weeks, I've been hitting up tax ones, but I try to like think about things for my people, my community, like what kind of expenses are different than all of them. So I see it that way and then see if it will help. So I explore those opportunities. Go to your local libraries and like I said, if you get a library card, you're able to do some of these business trainings for free. But I really appreciate Change Lab. They gave me a lot of opportunities. I learned a lot. A lot of my current clients, I was able to get them through my cohorts. I did do I was able to do both cohorts the change. So I'm an alumni too. Like, oh my, the incubator, and then I did the kinship, and I was able to receive a small business loan with the kinship lab. So definitely apply. That's coming up really soon, and that's super helpful for you to like expand your business and get some of the equipment. So I was able to get my equipments for my business and just upgrade a lot of things that I need for my field of business, since everything is virtual. Basically, my operating equipments are pretty expensive. Anything else? Did anybody have any, or does Raquel or Holly have questions again? Or
trying to think of some FAQs that I get. I think you covered quite a bit.
yeah, and then I guess like I know some people are asking for business plans.
We have that?
They have some business plans. They have some templates. I have a short version. I have a long version. I actually worked with the Coconino County Small Business. It's like their SBA thing. I took a course on that. So you kind of have to commit for like a couple of weeks, and they did oh my gosh, we did a program, and they paid for it. So we got our business plan. I went through a business plan with them too. And for the life of me, I don't remember the name of that particular business plan application. I know it's pretty expensive, but they paid for it. But they have some of those incubator types of projects too with your counties as well. And I think Navajo Nation itself is starting to build up some things. Hopefully that will happen.
I think it's just like a great practice.
Hopefully there's not an echo, but I think it's just like great practice for people to have one, even too if you don't know where to start. So we have resources here at our eShip hub here in Tuba City, or even through our Tuesday coaching, that we're able to work through the idea validator worksheet for those of you who want to first kind of just dip your toes into it, and then we can essentially start working from that progression into a BMC, which is a business model canvas. And then from there, it's a great kind of resource to get started of understanding what could be outlined, or even to further progress and detailed on your business plans. And we can help that help each one of you all with that kind of progression through our Tuesday coaching sessions that we offer, and they can register for. I think Raquel put a link in the chat for everybody. But this is great. We don't have 4 p.m. coaching today just because it's the last day of our workshops. We typically will in the future have our 4 p.m. coaching offered on the very last day, but always please feel free to register for Tuesday coaching, register for our other Kickstarts, and kind of go into our optional 4 p.m. group coaching at those times. We'll have a lot more essentially resources to provide. It sounds like there's also too like people wanted some either resources from yesterday, and as well as Amber's links, and as well as like PDFs that were shown throughout this presentation, emailed to them. And so we'll try to consolidate all of those and send those out to you guys sometime next week. And if there's no more questions, thank you guys so much for joining us today, and I'll pass it off to Raquel.
And then just to answer Jackie's question that just popped up, as we serve all Native entrepreneurs and business owners, once you go to our link I posted above, nativestartup.org/events, it'll prompt you to select which day and time you would like to schedule your appointment. And then it'll also, once you get to the Calendly link, it'll ask you for how you want to connect. So that'll be either in person here at the eShip Hub, over the phone, or virtually over a video conference, which is typically Google Meets. Is that right? Yeah, Google Meets. And then you can definitely, if you have any issues with getting connected or have any questions on how you can get connected as well, you can definitely reach out to Holly and I. Let me share my screen one more time. Just going to show them Holly's and I email addresses. So Holly is at holly@nativestartup.org, and I am Raquel at nativestartup.org. And my name has the C in there, so don't forget that part. Otherwise, if there aren't any other questions or anything else that you guys would like to discuss right now while we're all on the line, I did get a question from Holly about a cohort program. And we do have a lot of our alumni that had been participating this week. If you see Delphina, of course, Deborah, and Valerie here today, they've all been participating in a lot of our programming. And if you want to reach out to them, if they're open to it, of course, to just ask about the environment and the content and how the unique support that Change Labs is able to provide for you in the form of a cohort program, in the form of a cohort model, and how that benefits you and your business. Definitely let us know. We can connect you to a lot of our alumni members, and we have a whole array of members who are in different fields. We have agriculture, we have farming, ranching, we have jewelry, we have bookkeeping and financing, we have nonprofit organizations, and we have a lot of people that you can reach out to for support. And if they're in your area, or if you just would like to know more information personally about our programming, because sometimes it's a little daunting to jump into something that you're not completely familiar with. So if that's something that you are interested in, especially with our kinship lending program coming up, I believe their application is only open up for 2 weeks, and then they select, I'm not sure how many people or how many businesses they'll select this round, but it typically it ranges between 10 to 20, depending on how well everyone does in their interview process. And then if you're not prepared for this upcoming cohort application deadline, please don't feel daunted. You can still reach out to Christine and Slavosky, our kinship lending team, and ask them questions on how you can get prepared to apply for their next round of opening, because we do know that they are planning to open multiple rounds of a cohort program this year. So it's definitely, I recommend to all of our visitors to start that conversation and start that relationship with us, because the kinship lending is a relationship lending program, meaning that the program success depends on your relationship with Change Labs and all of our members here and our whole alumni network. And so I will end it there, unless anyone has any questions. Holly threw our emails in the chat if you want to jot those down. And then there's also our Changemaker stories. Those are all the stories that we've covered on our current alumni. A lot of our current alumni who have participated in our programming, you can read up on their stories and check out how they've come to where they're at today. Alrighty, guys, we'll see you all later. I hope we see you next week or sometime in the future with the rest of our workshops. Feel free to stop by here and have a good day. Stay warm.